Hello, divine, beautiful souls. This is Energy Speaks Podcast, and I'm your host, Catriel. So we got a lot of things, new things going on, and let's speak on this for a moment. Today we go into a Merrrcury Retrograde. It's like a full circle, I say, because the beginning of the show, oh, this is even funnier. The beginning of the show, the Bereshit of our show, began at the very beginning of a Merrrcury retrograde. So for me, this is very comical because the next podcast that I end up doing will be for my other show, which I'll announce that now. So I've created another show that literally is all the work, all of the energy that has built up to create Sept Kalod. So this podcast is called Sept Kalod Medabrim, which means the tribe of voices speak. And I realize I have energy speaks, but I felt very called to continue on, that type of format. And that's the thing. Sept Kalod is a tribe. It's not just me. And in that podcast will be it's already out there, but this week specifically we will be reading Bereshit, which is the first Torah portion for the year. And well, how does that relate to Energy Speaks? Well, because right now we're at a time of new beginnings. We're also at a time of going inward and realizing what we want, and allowing ourselves to receive these beautiful gifts from the universe, from Hashem, from Spirit, from God, whatever that name is for you, that higher power. And that's the other thing I want to mention. Yesterday, we did our first Energy Speaks live, and the magic really radiated when I brought my friend in that I have recently just met. Her name is Lisa Bromfield, and I was at Sumitra, and bam, it was a brilliant episode, which you'll get to hear on October 20th, which is a Wednesday, of course. But you'll get to meet her first within this live. If you didn't get to catch it live, that's okay. They're all going to be on Energy Speaks platform. And that's right there was magic, because I only set the intention to have one podcast with her, and by the end of it, we were on the same page that we wanted to do something more, wanted to bring something to the next level. And I'm so grateful for her and that experience yesterday. Again, that was just yesterday, and that's why, when I talk about Merrrcury Retrograde, it's an opportunity for us to let go and allow for the Shekhinah, the Spirit, to allow us to just get out of our own way and move. Just allow ourselves to just move, okay? And the other significance of that is for those who are knowledgeable in regards to Judaism and the calendar for this year, we're in a sabbatical year, a Shabbat year, essentially. And that is that energy. You know, I just put this together, you know? Like, Hashem just illuminated this for me. That the same energy that we are privileged to during a Merrrcury retrograde, that energy where, you know, when things are all fuzzy in your head and you don't know which way to go, right? Well, we can definitely have a Merrrcury retrograde like that. But if you can get past all the noise and hear the silence, that's when Hashem speaks. That's when Spirit speaks to you. And when you decide to let go, that's when the Spirit will move you. And that's what this entire year's about for those who observe the Hebrew calendar. It's the year of Shabbat. That's what we experience every Shabbat. And so I want to go a little bit deeper into the energy update that I did not get to really break down for you guys yesterday. So I'm just getting there. So if you haven't noticed yet, our sun is now in Libra. And so some of these might be a little bit different. So today, it'll be, from what I wrote down, I mean, the sun today is in degree 0.5. So that means throughout this week, we're going to start off, like, say, yesterday with degree number 4 and go all the way to, like, so we got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, okay? So that means we're really walking through some beautiful heart energy, okay? And yesterday, we started off by the sun entering Libra at 4 degrees, which is allowing ourselves to shake things up and do something different. And it's always not what we expect, but it's for the bigger picture. So we started that energy yesterday. And then today, we're getting ideas about what we experienced yesterday. We're making connections about all of the events from yesterday. And then, you know, because 5 is all about the Gemini energy, which the leader is Merrrcury. So it really highlights, you know, this mercurial energy, especially with the retrograde. So that retrograde energy, right? It's allowing us to see a different perspective, to see things from a different side, the different side of the coin, for us to physically experience as well. We got to remember that Libra is also a air sign as well. So it's also playing into this balancing the heart and the mind and allowing you to experience what you normally do differently. And this is all operating in the house of Libra. So it's going to highlight within our relationships. that means also our relationship with ourself. It's got to start with us first. And then it can carry out to the relationships we have with one another. And then tomorrow we'll walk into, again, the sun is in Libra, and it'll be 6 degrees, which is highlighting that Libra energy again. Specifically, what are we opening ourselves up to receive? And what also are we choosing to give? It's that balancing game, balancing of energy, kind of like a pendulum. And again, we're not perfect beings. So walking in a straight line is kind of impractical. But imagine yourself dancing. You have to have one foot in front of the other, and you're not walking in a straight line. You're kind of swaying back and forth. That's what tomorrow is all about, but with our heart. Okay? Weighing out different options as well. And then we'll get into the day after, which would be Wednesday. Step 7. Step 7 is all about opening ourselves up to a higher power and receiving that download from Spirit, from Hashem. And also, once we receive this download, sometimes we like what we hear and sometimes we don't. And if it's something that illuminates in us that we're not necessarily happy with, and it just gives us the opportunity to go deeper and have compassion for ourselves and whomever is involved. That's creating that dissonance. Then the day after, which would be Thursday, led by Jupiter, we'll have degree point 8, which is aligned with the Capricorn energy, which is decision time. Decision and commitment time. And laying a new foundation for what we started here in Libra with cultivating a relationship with ourselves. And that with the first degree points, that's important to realize, because once we get into like 10, 11, 12, 13, those energies, that's when we can start looking at things with other people involved. Not that they won't be involved in regards to the other degree points, but the primary focus is on the self first, to get our energy in alignment with Spirit, with Hashem. Cultivating a really solid foundation for a relationship with ourselves and with Hashem. And then on Friday, we'll enter the degree point 9, which is the Aries energy. So we're activating something. And of course, that's led by Venus, which is the leading planet of right now. Also, keeping in mind that our Earth is, as the sun is in, let's just say on Friday, the degree point 9, that means, or the sun will be in degree point 9 of Libra. That means the Earth is going to be in degree point 9 of Aries. And Aries is the heart of a child, right? It's playful, right? It's also ego. So it's a lot of passion, Mars energy. So you have this, tone of Mars energy meeting with the Venus energy, which is really beautiful because, they attract each other. So what in your life are you activating that's going to brighten your heart, magnetize, towards that? When you open yourself up to allow spirit to just align yourself to what you want to magnetize truly from your heart space, it shall be done. Because you let go. You didn't think it. You felt it. You just allowed for it. Then on Saturday, Shabbat, will be in degree point 10. And degree point 10 is about the Taurus energy. And the Taurus energy is setting the sacred space and allowing ourselves to see this beautiful birth within us. Something is coming into fruition within ourself on that day, and it will be illuminated if you allow for it. So that's what's going on within the sun this week. The moon right now, as of yesterday, it was in Gemini, so I think it's in the higher degree points of Gemini now, and we'll be going through, of course, Cancer and Leo this week. So that means our emotions, might feel a little bit like right now, a lot of thoughts, so our thoughts and emotions play off each other, right? But there might be, some feelings behind certain ideas, and recognizing what you're feeling during this time is really important, and observing your ideas and your thoughts. When you're in that sweet spot, and what I mean by sweet spot is you're allowing and you're letting go, you'll just be guided to, by your intuition, which has a strong pull with the moon, right? And if you're a little bit high-strung or something like that, and not feeling quite right, ask yourself to just take a step back and allow for, taking 5, like Lisa, taking 5 minutes to just meditate and let go. You don't have to do anything. You can just observe, And then, of course, we'll be in a Cancer moon coming up, which is a very strong pull towards your intuition and your feels. You might be feeling a lot during this time. And I say with that, just allow yourself to embrace your feelings. If you're feeling too much, shake it up. Literally go and move. Because when we allow ourselves to be stagnant, we feel things to the utmost. And they may be uncomfortable, but that uncomfortability is there for us to move it. Because it's all energy. That's all it is. It's just energy. And then, we'll go into a Leo moon towards the end of the week. And that's all about aligning our feelings to with our heart, of course, and also some tones of like how we feel to take leadership in our own life, that will come through as well. And Black Moon Lilith is right now at 7 degrees Gemini. So as I spoke yesterday, Black Lilith is literally this energy of fear and the dark feminine energy, right? So allow yourself to confront your fears during this time, because it'll pay off. It will pay off. And you'll see a miracle out of it. I really, truly believe that. And it may have to do with a communication that you need to have with yourself or with someone else. And allow for Hashem, for Spirit, to guide you through that conversation if that's what comes through. For Mercury, we're in degree point 25, which now is Libra in retrograde, right? So that's the higher degree points of Mercury, and it's in Libra. So we're about to kind of, again, switch things up, right? And start reviewing our communications within our grandmaster steps, right? So anything that we're strongly trying to get it out there, with our communications, and with our communication specifically with others, it's really what's coming through. The relationships in our life, it's under review right now, and just taking a pause and with that, when we talk to the people in our life that we care about, note that we all have these awesome, beautiful gifts of, connecting with each other's higher self. Have a conversation with someone, as if they're not in the room. And what I mean by that is talk to their best version of themselves, and you speak from your best version of yourself. See what happens. And that's where the magic happens, is leaving it up to faith. Instead of pressing certain conversations right now, set the intention. I guarantee you, allowing for that conversation to come up organically will be the most beautiful conversation you have. Whether you think so today or, later, magic will come from it when you allow yourself to drop the pressure, step back, and just allow. Then we have Venus in Scorpio right now. Ooh, very passionate within our relationships. So you got to realize that these all play in together, right? So we have, what I just said in regards to Mercury and relationships, right? And communications. Well, from a heart perspective of connecting with another person, it's going to be very, very passionate. That can be on a positive side or a negative side, or in between, of course. But there's really no in between with Scorpio. I'm just gonna say, I'm a Scorpio, so and so this is where it comes in with our relationships. This is the perfect time to set the sacred space for who we want to communicate to, who is special in our lives. Specifically, the degree point we have here is degree point 18, which degree point 18 is leading with the heart, making a decision and committing to it for an activation. Okay? Now, how does that apply? All right. So, essentially, if you're in your heart space and you decide and commit to setting a sacred space for all the beautiful beings in your life that you're really working through relationships right now, right? And how you connect with that person, you can activate during this time with Venus. And that can be even someone that you don't even know. Like, say you're setting the intention to have that you want a relationship, you're ready for it. Well, this is the time to set that sacred space, because you can activate that during this time. And it's in the house of Sag. Okay? House of Sag is higher learning, spirituality. I also like to say God's sense of humor. So again, kind of like shooting in the air, saying it out loud, saying it to Hashem, to Spirit, whatever your intention is, and bam, it's out there. It's like wishing upon a star. And then we look at our south node and our north node. South node's in Sagittarius at 3 degrees. North node's at Gemini, 3 degrees. And they're in each other's house. So, south node is all about this is the energies that's coming up of what we're familiar with. Okay, so it's going to bring up things that we're familiar with. And sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's not so much, because we get stuck in our ways. Well, it's going to be specifically in regards to the Sag energy, right, of believing, and in the house of Sag. So it's a lot of spiritual and belief system energy here. So it's going to challenge our beliefs. And this is where we can choose to let go of some of those beliefs, or have the faith to bring them forward. And anything that no longer serves us will fall away. So North Node is in Gemini, okay, 3 degrees, house of Gemini. And that is definitely teaching us something. It could be teaching us something in regards to our belief systems through our intellectualness, right? Like, what were we taught to believe? Okay? And what can we learn from that? Whether that works for us or not. I mean, maybe you had really, really good parents and they taught you really good things. And that's the principles of your belief system. And that feels good. Well, great. Let's get the nuggets of gold from that. Maybe it's the exact opposite. Maybe you were programmed a certain way, you dislike it, and you're wanting to learn the silver lining of how you can find a new way to believe, and bring it to life and illuminate it, and also communicate it out. So writing during this time, or any form of communication, speaking it out loud, whatever that is, that can help you during this time illuminate something. about your beliefs. Then we have our part of fortune. Part of fortune is in Scorpio at 23 degrees in the house of Scorpio. So where we're taking part in our fortune is through our passion, setting the sacred space, and transforming. Okay? 23 degrees, it's going to bring in the energies of setting the tone, which is the Cancer energy. And 3 degrees, our belief system. So taking what we believe and our strong intuition, pushing it forward and communicating that. And it's in the house of Scorpio. So, well, house of Scorpio also has inheritances in there. And it's also death, birth, and transformation. So you can level up during this time. You can take part in a large fortune, whether that's monetary or not. You have the ability to level up during this time. And how much you put into the pot energetically will allow you to double that or quadruple that, you know? Whatever you put in is what you're going to receive out, essentially. But it's going to be multiplied, all right? So be mindful with what you want to create, essentially. And allow for the flow. Pluto, again, death, birth, and transformation. It's in Capricorn, so foundations here. It's also pinpointing that, you know, a mirror energy here. 24 degrees, so it's 1 degree beyond what we just saw with the part of fortune. 24 degrees, setting the tone for a bigger vision here, okay? And that is going to illuminate something in our heart. Now, it's in a retrograde, and it's in the house of Aquarius. So again, that bigger picture, and it's going to show up in our friends and communications and everything. So our friends and our communications with large communities, it's going to transform during this time. And it's more so not focused on that specifically, but the inward, how we feel about those particular friends and organizations. It's instead of putting the highlighter on that place or thing, you know, it's bringing it internal and kind of flipping it. And then we got Saturn. Saturn is that timekeeper energy, that foundations, that segmented, essentially. It's like Chronos, you know. It also plays into our decisions and our commitments, our CEO type of energy. Where are we gonna be at what time? Blah blah blah. You know, like what are we creating for ourselves? How productive can we be? Except it's challenging us because it's asking us to shake all of that up, especially internally. Because it's 7 degrees in Aquarius in a retrograde in the house of Pisces. So what's really going to come through here is things that are hidden. Yes, okay. So it's more so instead of walking and seeing something, it's walking by faith. So during this time, you know, as we're laying foundations, essentially we got to walk a path that we don't see. It's kind of like in Indiana Jones when I think it's in the third movie where he's saying the word, the penitent man will pass. The penitent man will pass. Well, what he was hoping for and taking this deep breath of this energy to breathe into a faith and knowing that when he took that step, even though it looked like he was going to walk off a cliff, that he was going to be okay. That's the type of energy we're talking about here with Saturn, okay? And so a lot can be illuminated for us here because not only, do we have that going on, I'm going to skip down to Neptune here. Neptune plays right with this because Neptune is this energy of spirituality and playing with things in the unknown, faith. It's in Pisces in retrograde, and it's at 21 degrees. 21 degrees, setting a new tone to lead with our heart, and it will illuminate something within our belief system, okay? We're truly going to believe whatever we put our faith in. But this time, it's in the house of Aries. And why is that significant? Because it's activating something and it's having us take action. It's working through something at a very personal level, at a individual level, egoic level. And I don't mean to it can mean, having to do with the ego and transforming that and finding a winged ego essentially. But, it's a very individual thing that's going on here, and that's playing in with Saturn. What's also playing in is Jupiter, okay, which is our expansion. This is where we're expanding rather than restricting, okay? 23 degrees in Aquarius in retrograde in the house of Pisces. Jupiter is this expansion, and it is kind of like throwing something in the air and seeing what happens, right? And then just kind of the fool's journey. So 23 degrees is setting the tone, like this strong feeling that of our beliefs, and we're communicating that out. And the Aquarius here is shaking things up, and it's allowing us to operate differently, but from a holistic perspective, right? For everyone involved, it's highlighting. And so, when we walk this inner path, I want to put that in there. It's this internal journey of the Fool, essentially. And once we kind of realize, it's kind of like when you do a meditation and you see that being in your head that you're taking on this journey, right? Like you're on this journey. It's like our higher self walking, right? And then you're like, whoa, who is that dude? They look really cool. And that's me. That's awesome. That's Jupiter right now. That's you observing yourself. Do some more meditating. You'll have some deeper connections on where you're going, because Jupiter is also about where are we going. It's the storyline, right? Well, right now it's an internal story. So you're wanting to flip, things on the outside to move things forward, but Spirit's asking you to go inside, and you're going to be able to see the story because you're creating it. And so it's like this beautiful gift for you to be able to tune in and be like, oh my gosh, I'm creating this story in my meditation. That's the gift. You don't have to rely on what's these external factors. It's all within you. And so that's where the magic is. Then we got Chiron. Chiron is in Aries at 10 degrees. So we're manifesting something to 10 degrees, right? Within our very individual level. That's the ego, the inner child, all of that, right? And we're doing this from an internal perspective because it's in a retrograde, and it's in the house of Aries. So we're truly activating a new inner child here and bringing that to life and being like, okay, where was the inner child when we need it? And then we embrace that inner child and we hold it, and we're healing something, because Chiron's all about healing. All right. Then we got Uranus. Uranus is about shaking shift up. Yes, I said shift, because we don't have to observe it as shit. we can shift it. And Uranus is at 14 degrees. 14 degrees is leading with the heart for the bigger picture and communicating that. Okay? So we're doing this in Taurus in a retrograde. And it's in the house of Taurus. So it's highlighting our values here. And we're communicating to ourselves what values we want and what is going to stick for the, like, collectively. Right? We're reevaluating those values. And essentially, imagine when you get into a group meditation and you're creating something together. That's what's going on with Uranus right now. What you create in a group right now is super, super important because you're communicating something into the universe that will transform something and it will manifest. Okay? When this goes out of a retrograde, and this is what I want to say in regards to retrogrades. Once you've done the work at a internal level, when we go into a direct, energy space with these planets, whatever work we did in that, we're now translating that into the physical. And so that's the true magic here. That's the magic of a retrograde. So that is what's going on with the planets and the energy update for the week. It's very, very specific here. And I want to say, we're going to be doing every Sunday. Lisa Bromfield and I, she's of Take 5 Meditations, right? We're going to be doing live and either on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We'll let you guys know. We'll advertise, out there beforehand so you know where to tune in. It will be always on a Sunday between 6 and 8. And I like to give windows of time until we get things out there in the physical, and of course, as we plan, Hashem laughs, right? So, please tune in for those. They're very magical, and there's a lot of good talking and energy. And if you ever want to, ask questions and get involved in those live episodes, please, I encourage you to do so. If you have a topic of discussion that you want to speak about, or you want us to speak upon, please let us know. I am on Facebook Messenger, Gotriel DeWitt. Look me up. And I also want to give one other thing. Okay, so anyone who is Jewish out there, I am planning a retreat. It's going to be in Interlaken, Florida. That's a mouthful. It's at Camp Declan. If you get a chance, go on my Facebook or check out Camp Declan. It will be October 22nd, that is a Friday, through October 24th, which is a Sunday. And it is a Shabbat weekend. And we're encouraging those between the ages of 22 and 32 to get involved. There are limited spaces, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We have a very, very special educator. His name is Reb Tuvia. He is in Spring Hill, part of the Reform and the Renewal, or has been a part of the Renewal community within Judaism. And he has a really cool background. We're going to do a campfire, do some Jewish astrology. We're going to hear his words of wisdom. It's going to be a true magical experience. Please reach out if you'd like to be involved. And I will give you my phone number, and write this down if you need this. 727-967-4540. And I will get you all the information you need. It will be a blast. And there is a lake and cool things on that ground. All right. Well, that is it for to this week's episode, and for the energy of the week. And I thank you all for tuning in and listening. It gives me so much joy to do this. So please have a beautiful week in Libra season. I love you all, divine, beautiful souls. Shalom.